What's up, everybody? It's your boy Gino. I'm back with another fishing report. It's February 1st. I brought Frank Oliva along for the ride. He's another local stick on the Harris chain. The guy is on the water as much as I am, and I do it for a living. But let's talk about what is going down right now. It's the 1st of February. We've already started off on the wrong foot. It's going to be down in the 30s tonight, and the weather's going to continue to be cold until Friday, and then we're going to be looking at a warming spell. So if you're going to be out there early in the week, the canals are a great place to start, but look to focus on the center of the canals. Look to throw rattle traps, lipless crankbaits, jerk baits. A lot of guys miss this opportunity. They assume the spawn's not going to be going down because of cold weather. They start looking out on the main lake, and these fish are not going to make it that far that fast. Most of the fish that are in the back of the canals that we're spawning or thinking about spawning or just getting done spawning are simply going to pull to the center of those canals, and you can absolutely go in there and clean up. And I come behind a lot of boats and see a lot of guys going through these canals in situations like this. In fact, I did a video last week on one, and they're thrown to the bank. And yeah, I mean, you have a shot at catching fry garters unless there's some crazy mat over there that you can punch. The likelihood of you catching one of those females or thinking about locking on or just getting off of bed will be in the middle of the canal. So look to throw jerk baits, lipless crankbaits in the middle of canals. Canals that maybe hadn't gone off yet, that were on the verge. The mouths of the canals are great, so just make sure to start checking the mouths of the canals on the way in. Oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes you'll find shell bars right at the mouth of the canals as well, leading into that. And if you don't seem to find them there, search just a little ways outside of each canal. Look for little key areas like shell or a hump or grass edge, the end of docks, things like that. Look to focus on the end of docks with deep diving crankbaits, deep diving jerk baits, to try and find those fish that maybe we're thinking about pulling on or thinking about pulling off, or they're still staging to come up, because we are going to see another warming trend here in about 4 days, and then we'll pull back on the beds. Areas that are hot or not on the chain. Oh, listen, something I wanted to bring up that it stumps the best of us on a regular basis, and it's super difficult. And it's really easy to give up. When we say these fish are spawning that's going off, it's not going to be everywhere. I've gone out for days and spent hours and hours and hours and nearly gave up because you just don't find them. But it does happen. You have to look. And if you find them, it's really easy to stay with them within an area. So there's been some great bags going on the chain. We had some good bags this last weekend. We had bags in the high 20s, even in the 30s at some of the local derbies. And a lot of big fish are being caught. So it's a really exciting time of the year. And we got a couple more months of this. It's going to be real similar throughout the next few months until the water's stable over 75 degrees. Once that water's stable over 75 degrees, the dynamic of the lake changes completely. All lakes are fishing nearly identical, right, Frank? Same stuff going on just about. You can do the same thing on any lake on the chain right now and find success. Obviously, guys that are into flipping, look for protected areas that have good bottom. If they don't have good bottom and it's a protected area, say it's an area you're behind Long Island, right? And there's a ton of area that's protected, but you got quite a bit of soft bottom. Look for those spatter dock. Look for some trees. Look for areas that these fish can rub them eggs out on, and you'll find success in those areas as well too. But like I said, don't give up your hunt early. Don't get frustrated. Just stick with it, and you will find the fish. Frank and I both fished the ABA this last weekend, and I assumed Frank was going to win the tournament. I wasn't going to fish it. I was booked. I had a last-minute cancellation. And Frank's been blistering some monsters.
I made him fish the tournament.
So by 12:30, I had like one fish in the boat for 1 pound, and I'm cursing Frank. I'm like, this son of a gun drugged me into this dang tournament. And I've been catching all my fish on Griffin. That's why I've had all my success. So all my guide trips have been out of Griffin. The videos I shot for you guys came out of Griffin. And so I had no clue where I was going to go in this tournament. And it took me, I fished offshore for the first hour. I had one fish for a pound. And then it took me till 12:30 to find another fish. But it worked out. I ended up winning the tournament. I found some fish spawning. It was a pretty good deal. But you just have to keep it moving. Don't fish on past history. Don't try and go somewhere someone told you about. you're going to be a day late and a dollar short every time you try to do that. You really got to go out there and put some time, and you can get super lucky and run into them right away, or it could take you a little bit, but just stay focused. And you can also get on them offshore as well. You got plenty of post spawners right now. We've had two decent spawns so far. One came at the end of 2020, the very end of December. We had a full moon and we had a warming trend leading up to it, so we had some good spawner going on then. And then once that starts on the chain, it continues until that water's steady over 75. What you'll find is you'll have cold fronts come through and then you'll have warming trends. As soon as that water starts to warm again, you'll find spawners somewhere. You just have to really look and dedicate yourself. And don't jump lake to lake. You know, if you want to fish Dora, go to Dora, right? If you want to fish Carlton or Horseshoe or Bouclair, stick to one lake and spend the entire day looking, and you're going to find a lot more success. If you pick a big lake like Harris, decide that you want to fish the south end or the north end and just stick to it and work all day long, and don't bounce around too much. Just get and start moving one direction, and you're going to run into the fish. I can assure you of that. And when you do, it's gonna pay off in a big way. When approaching a canal, Frank, what do you like to throw? If you know you got spawners in the area, they're possibly staging.
I'm coming in there with either a square bill or a rattle trap, one knocker to be specific.
Yeah.
In the royal purple color.
Yeah.
I hate to even tell you guys that, but man.
Yeah, that royalty color is fire on the chain.
If we're doing a fishing report.
Yeah,
give them a fishing report.
Yeah, for sure.
That purple one.
That is, if you open my box, you'll find a half a dozen sitting in my lipless crankbait box. And I myself, I like to throw jerk baits and swim baits. All those techniques are going to work good, right? You're going to figure most of our canals are going to be in that 4 to 6 foot of water. So those are great ways to approach it. And it's just got to be what you're confident in. You're not going to find more success in one or the other most of the time. It's going to be, your confidence has got to come through the line. It's got to be something you're comfortable in doing, and you'll find success. Don't let these fish deter you. They can be stingy this time of year, but when it's good, it's you can have the best day of your life. So yeah, that's a good thing to think about, guys. Square bill, lipless, jerk bait, swim bait. Don't think too big on the swim bait, right? Think about the bait you're seeing go through those areas. So stick to your smaller swim baits. A lot of our canals are going to have, maybe some eelgrass or some pepper grass. There'll be snot moss in there, something funky. So if you do fish a swim bait, I generally don't fish them on an open jig head like I fish them offshore. I fish them on a belly weighted hook. And I like to put on, even when I'm using a belly weighted hook, I like to put a small bullet weight on the front. Most of the time I use lead because it's larger in diameter and a lighter weight, just so it can kind of come through some of that funky stuff a little bit better. I find that hook and knot and the spring that your screw lock, that whole thing sitting right there just collects a lot of crap. And if you throw that bullet weight on the front, it's going to eliminate a lot of frustration and let you get a lot more cast in. Be very mindful of water temps wherever you're at all over the lake. Keep in mind if you've had wind blowing out of the north for a day and a half, and you've had a cold front that just blew through, that colder water layer on top it's gonna create a station on the opposing end of that lake. It's gonna push that colder water over there, and then the nearby coves or pockets are gonna receive that warmer water. It's gonna be pushed out of that cove, so your fish could move a little bit on you. So kind of be mindful of that, and obviously the water temperature dictates what these fish are gonna decide to do over the next few months. So it's good to be mindful on that, and that can help you kind of know if you're moving in the right direction or not. Like, for instance, I ran down Double Run a couple nights ago. Friday I went through Double Run Friday, and I realized when I got back to the back of Double Run that it was 3 degrees cooler back there than it was on the main lake. So I didn't even look. I literally motored up, turned around, and blew out of there. So be mindful of that. That'll help save you a little bit of time. As far as fishing offshore shell bars, same deal, right? Like, what do you like to throw on a shell bar, Frank?
It's going to be either Carolina rig or rattle trap, or if there's no grass in the area, I'm throwing,
cranking.
Crank that.
Right, so same old story here in Florida. And if you're wondering what soft plastic works on the end of your Carolina rig, What works for you, brother? Like, what are you guys comfortable with? You want to throw a Z-crawl? You want to throw a trick worm? You want to throw a mag trick worm? You want to throw a small trick worm? You want to throw a Cinco? You want to throw a speed worm? They all work good. And, you know, as far as color goes, it's hilarious because, like me, Frank, AJ, we fish together on a regular basis. All three of us throw different colors, and we all find pretty good success out there. So I think it's a confidence thing for the most part. I mean, some weird situations, color matters. Some and oftentimes a lot, but for the most part, just throw what you're comfortable in. You know, typical Florida colors: June bug, red bug, California 420.
Got
Those are just
watermelon red that everybody
watermelon
like
red, green
Watermelon
pumpkin.
red.
You know, like I like green pumpkin a lot in the canals, guys. Green pumpkin and chartreuse. And the canals are a little bit clearer water. That's a good way to go. Canals that you have a lot of stumps and trees generally will house more crayfish, so you can get away with throwing creature baits and stuff like that. More so in there. And think like watermelon red, California 420, black, blue. Those are great colors to start when you're thinking creature or crawl. Here in Florida and on the Harris Chain especially. Ocklawaha is still very productive. Marshes are still very productive. They have been spraying heavily, so those fish are constantly moving. I'm out here out on the water just about every day, and it's very hard for me to stay on top of these fish. I'm constantly having to put my trolling motor on high and get to moving and stay with them. They've had planes out there every single day. Same thing on the north end of Griffin, but the fishing's still good. 27 to 9th Street Canal, that grass has been sprayed. They've spent some time out there spraying that grass, so you've lost some clarity in the water. But it's wintertime, the grass doesn't grow at a faster rate, so most instances they're just burning the top of that grass. You still have good grass down there below. The fish have not gone anywhere. There's still an insane amount of fish in that area. It's a good area to look at. Same thing goes for Little Harris. There's still a ton of good grass down on Little Harris, close to Double Run. The pads are very productive this time of year on that end of the lake. The water clarity's not what it was last year this time of year, but it's cleaned up a bit from summer. 19th Bridge still in play at all times, still a big producer. Eustis has been a little bit tougher for me. I don't know if you fished it lately, but
No, useless. That's what we like to call it from where I'm from. Useless, absolutely useless. That place is.
I love Eustis, but Eustis burned me bad in the BFL, and I haven't been back since, but I do love Eustis. Eustis can be good, but from what I hear, you know, my last time out there, I didn't do great. I almost went, in my last tournament, chose not to. A couple buddies of mine fished there recently. They didn't do so great. Been a little bit frustrated over there. Dora, clean water in Dora. Dora Canal, still always popping.
Yeah, now it's popping.
There's a ton of offshore grass in Dora right now, guys. You got hydrilla and pepper grass absolutely everywhere. If you get out there and you put in the time, it'll be very rewarding. But you're going to have to put in the time, right? And just think about areas that are going to be close to spawning areas. Those are the best places to start when you're looking at that grass. If you have access to a composition map, C-Maps will have the hard spots on there, which is pretty neat. So you can look for hard spots where the grass is and maybe try to eliminate some water that way. Look to fish, you know, typical Florida grass baits like your chatterbait, right? White chatterbaits right now are awesome. A rubber worm, lipless crankbait. Those are great ways to approach the grass. Topwater is great this time of year. A lot of people think like, oh, it's freezing out, it's getting too cold, or you can't throw topwater. Listen, you get to them spawning flats, you get around spawning fish, you get in these canals with a devil's horse, and you're gonna have a good time, right? They're gonna come up and eat it. You'd be surprised at how cold the water can be, and they'll still come up and smash that topwater when there's fry in the area or spawning fish in the area. They hate that thing. They hit it and try and kill it. And they can be hyper aggressive, man. I actually didn't have time to edit the footage, but I was fishing the marsh last week. This huge females out there, and this buck's trying to quarter, get on the bed. She wasn't having it. She was getting super mad. I fired a jerkbait out there, and I'm working jerkbait, bang, 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 bang. I catch the buck. She smokes the buck and tries to kill him. I mean, I got him. I got some pretty good footage of him, but I mean, she hit him midsection and just ripped half his scales off. He was all bloodied up. So they can be super aggressive. It can be a really good time of year. So let's see, what are we missing? Carlton, Horseshoe. Oh, so Dora, yeah, clean water, lots of grass. Great fishing over there right now. look to fish the connecting canal between Dora and Bouclair. That is a huge hot zone this time of year. A lot of big stringers come out of there. There's a ton of spatterdock in there, Kissimmee grass, and cattails are great to focus on. The buggy whips always a great place to start. And Dora, Carlton, and Bouclair, that is the same deal. All three lakes.
Yeah.
And they do love them some spinnerbait up in the Kissimmee grass and all three of those lakes as well. And as far as Popka goes, we can't be much help over there. I don't fish there much.
It's a dead lake.
Yeah, it's not something we can speak on. Horseshoe, I haven't been in there for a little while, but this time of year, typically Horseshoe can be exceptionally good. But I have not been to that end of the chain lately, so
I went back
can
there
give
the
it a whole
other day.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah, super clean water, mats everywhere, and
Super saucy.
can't see anything on the shoreline as far as beds because it's all just matted up. So I got.
How's the water level going in there? Could you get in there all right?
Yeah, but I don't know if the battle wagon's making it back there, homie.
So listen, if you got a medium to somewhat large bass boat, let's say like 20 footer or less.
Yeah, I mean, you probably can get back there, but it's gonna be.
You can
tough.
do it. You can do it. Just don't be scared.
It's gonna be tough.
There's a lot of fallen wood back in there.
Yeah, it's bad.
I used to go back in there in my Gambler on a regular, but my newer boat's a little wider. But Frank knows I'd probably push her on through.
Yeah,
but that's a good place to start. If you want to get away from everybody, that's a nice
psychopath.
place to start. Gator Hole, I'm sure is hot this time of year. I've not been over there, but this is the time of year the Gator Hole pops off.
Clean water in there too.
Super clean. Me and Frank were in there like
Crystal
2 weeks ago, like
Yep.
crystal clear. Tons of pepper grass and offshore grass in there, and then a ton of stuff to pitch to all the way around the shoreline there. And when you get in, if you look to your right slightly, it kind of hooks back. There's a little dock back there. It's a great spawning area right there. And the trees and pads on the way in are a great place to flip. And obviously, fish a crankbait through the center and jerkbait. Don't be scared. You'll catch them there. What are we missing? We hit them all.
We did.
We got them all for you. So that about sums it up. Yeah. They're not going to be betting hard for the next few days, but they're going to pull back up later this week. But that wraps it up for February's Fish Report. Frank, anything to add?
Yes, Gino Losi taking everybody down this weekend in the ABA Open, kid. Telling me he wasn't going to fish the damn tournament, and I forced this kid to do it, and he came out and he dropped the hammer like we knew he could.
Oh, so
we're
epic.
all so happy
epic.
for you,
I'm
Gino.
ecstatic.
All
I still
so
can't believe I
happy.
won.
So
So
stoked.
definitely a huge deal. Frank and I got the BFL coming up in 19 days.
Yeah. Don't worry, guys. If there's money on the line, I won't be there.
Frank's going to show up with his tournament. We can only see 15 days out, so we have no clue what's going to be going down then.
Yep.
But we'll see. Until next time, everybody. Oh, also, listen, please like and subscribe if you're into catching this content. You know I'm going to keep it pumping. I keep it honest. And if you listen to what I say, I promise you it's going to help you, save you a lot of time. I want everybody to have a good time out there. If there's anything I'm missing, if there's anything you want me to go over, please leave it in the comment section. I try to address your guys' questions as quickly as possible. And I will try to get the videos you guys are requesting ASAP. It's a lot. I'm guiding and doing this. If you want to see some more content, my boy Frank is always on something. And listen, Frank and I are always doing something different, but we're always in communication. Me, Frank, and AJ. So Frank Oliva.
Yes, sir. Fishing. Frank Oliva Fishing on YouTube.
Fishing. Just look for
And
the dude in
on
the pink shit.
on Instagram, Frank Oliva on
And the
Facebook.
green shorts. And you'll find
Shut
Frank. Hey, the dude can fish, and it's two different perspectives. It's really nice to have. I tell you, I've grown more as an angler this year, spending time with this guy and with a buddy AJ of mine, and my boy Jared. I can't leave him out. Albright. I love getting together because we all look at everything differently. It's great to share amongst ourselves, and we've all grown because of it, and share. And the internet makes it beautiful because we can share amongst everybody. It's unreal how quick information gets around. So yeah, please like and subscribe in the comments. Anything we missed, let me know. We'll take care of it. Until next time, everybody, tight line.